I've had an on-again, off-again relationship with this girl since JR High. We've constantly been in each other's lives, even to this day we still talk. I thought I was in love with her, shocker I wasn't. But in high school things got pretty serious between us, and the more serious we got, the worse we treated each other when we fought. It was the most toxic relationship I have ever been in, but we're actually great friends now. At the time I was working stock crew at the mall toy store. Sometimes it was an early morning shift. Sometimes it was overnight, so my sleep schedule was all messed up. We were dating and sleeping together pretty regularly my entire senior year. She had her circle of friends, I had mine, and they rarely intersected. Enter Dickhead Kyle. Now Dickhead Kyle gave a bad name to all other monster-chugging, drywall assaulting Kyles. He was physically and mentally abusive to his girlfriend, later wife. He manipulated his friends into letting him walk all over them. Got one girl hooked on pills after he got her pregnant, so she would be forced to give the baby up. Just a next-level scumbag. Kyle was a part of both our circles. He was friends with a few acquaintances I had, and the girl was pretty close to his girlfriend. The girl and I had just had a really bad fight a few days before and had made up in our usual way. As I was getting ready to go to bed for work, the next morning my phone went off. It was a text from Kyle followed by 3 pictures. One new to my girlfriend, one of my girlfriend and his, and the last one only half loaded, but it was clearly a picture of my girlfriend giving him a blowjob. I was furious, but as I was already graduated, I wouldn't run into him again to take my rage out the traditional way. So I just said forget it and moved on with my life. I was still mad at the girl for cheating on me again. This happened multiple times on both ends, so it was forgiven pretty quickly. So we fought it out a few times and eventually made up when she told me the whole story. Kyle had told her I was sleeping with his girlfriend's sister or something, and that this was how she should get back at me. Now, was it petty and dumb? Absolutely. But he wasn't so bright, and the story wasn't so far-fetched that she didn't believe him. She told me that since it was bullshit on his end, she was done with both of them, and we went on with our lives. The start of the long game. A few years go by. The girl has moved to another state, but we still keep in touch, and out of the blue Kyle's wife hits me up on the Book of Faces. We talk about how life has been and whatnot, where we live and such. Turns out she's just down the street from me. We keep talking every so often when she texts one day asking for a favor. I'm not working that day and bored out of my mind, so I oblige and run a pack of smokes down to her since she's out and can't get more because of her kid. I get to her apartment and we hang out for a bit talking. We head out to the patio for a cigarette, and in the daylight her shirt is almost completely see-through. I make an offhand comment about it, and without a second thought she pulls her shirt off. We go back inside and go to town on each other on her and Kyle's bed. We keep the affair going a few weeks, then just kind of stop. At this point I felt my revenge was complete. I had this guy's wife on his bed, and he won't know till they get into another huge fight. I wipe my hands of the drama and go about my day. Fast forward another few years. My band had just finished a huge show before we went on tour, and as I'm doing the meet and greet thing at our merch booth, I get a Facebook message from Kyle before the quarantine non-friend messages. Kyle was in the hospital. He said it was serious and had a question. Did you ever spend time with Hannah? I'm looking at this text thinking of all the ways I could mess with his head, but decided to probe a little by saying, I think that's something you should ask her first. He replies, I did, and she told me something happened at our apartment. I need to know if it's true. So I think for a second and send him 2 pictures we took, one of her giving me oral, and one of the aftermath. He just replies, THX, and blocked me. I think good, now the dick knows what it feels like, and go about my merry. But this story isn't done yet, friends, not by a long shot. See, unbeknownst to me, Hannah and Kyle had another kid around 9 months after our affair, and it wasn't Kyle's. From the pictures, it was obvious that we didn't use protection, and there was no pull-out, so he immediately suspected it was mine. Hannah knew better since she was already pregnant when we started, but just barely. Kyle viewed me as his enemy ever since high school because I stole all of his friends. So knowing that he was raising the child of someone he hated just burned him up inside. He turned to hard drugs and became a raging alcoholic, tried to get information on where I lived, and kept trying to get revenge on me for all of this, but failed miserably, lost his job, his family, what few longtime friends he had. Basically, his life just crashed around him. About 2 years ago, I reconnected with another ex from high school, and she told me the aftermath, what Kyle tried to do, what ended up happening to his life. Hannah took him for everything in their divorce. Last I heard, he's locked up for robbing a liquor store while carrying methamphetamines and a loaded pistol, which landed him in for about 12 years.